Mark says, what's the fuel length limit on the J-Tube, specifically your 6-inch Walker Super Hot? So that's a great question, Mark. So the fuel length on a J-Tube, the J-Tubes feed vertically. And ideally, you want your fuel to stay below the top of your stove, the top of that feed opening. However, this is a question I get a lot because my core is only about 11 inches top to bottom. The outside is 12. This is out of memory, so if I'm wrong, which I could be, don't pick on me. It's close to this. But the inside dimension is 11 inches from the firebox floor to the top of the core. But keep in mind that that is a core, and it's intended to be encapsulated with a masonry skin. That's probably going to be brick, is how it was designed. So you can add another 2.5 inches at least to that height, which should bring you up to like close to 14 inches. And then a couple inches of fuel sticking out above that is really not a big deal, like a little 1 or 2. So really, the goal with all of my stoves is I'm kind of aiming for 16-inch fuel length ideally. And I think, Mark, that 16 inches is totally reasonable for the J-Tube length for my specific 6-inch Walker Super Hot. Now that's if it's built into a full stove. If you're just running the core bare, if you do it like that, you're going to end up leaving, 4 or 5 inches out above the top. And what happens is the wood that's above the top isn't subjected to the same high velocity air, right, that's coming into the tube. And so flames can, if they can get out of the top of the firebox, then they can just kind of burn if there's sticks up high. But as long as they're close to that opening, everything's coming in pretty quickly. It's hard for the heat and the gas to start burning up and out. So that's a sort of a long way of saying, Mark, that the fuel length is really regulated by your overall firebox height, and your firebox height is dictated by the thickness of whatever you're adding on top of that core. Design length is like 14 to 16. So you're planning a brick wrap and was figuring you have a few inches sticking out. Perfect. So that's exactly right. And that's, like I said, that's kind of designed parameters. Sounds like you're right in the middle there. You've got it figured out. If you're anything like me, you will occasionally stick like a 4-foot long piece of a pallet in there or something and just see what happens. And that's totally okay. Like even in my house, inside, every now and then we'd be joking around and we'd have like a piece of wood that was, literally 8 feet long, touching the ceiling, coming out of that thing. And yeah, it gets a little, it's going to fall over and light your house on fire. Don't do that unattended. But the point is, you'll play with it, and you will learn what works. And it will change on different days. When it's really cold out and you have a great draft, you can burn pretty long sticks. So there you go.